This video is going to be about how to refinish the frame and underbody of a square body truck. It's pretty amazing that you could go from this and this and this and this all the way to this. I sandblasted everything here, frame and the whole underbody. Went through a whole bunch of steps to get it to this point. So this video, we're going to walk through and show you how I did this. Using my little tiny Harbor Freight pressure pot sandblaster for this. I used to hate this thing, but I found out what I was doing wrong. So I used to run this thing for about 5 minutes and then it would just start plugging up on me and it wouldn't spray anymore. So I hated it, never used it much. But I found out the critical piece that I was missing was an air dryer. You've got to have an air dryer on your compressor to keep all the moisture out. Now that I have that on my compressor, I'll show you in a second. This thing, I can run it all day long and it never clogs up once. It's awesome. Makes really quick work of a big job like this. So I'm super happy with this now. That little thing works great. Now there's a good chance you might get a little dirty doing this. Wear earplugs so you won't be digging sand out of your ear for the next week. Make sure you wear a respirator like this. Those little paper dust masks just aren't going to cut it. Here's the air dryer that I'm talking about. This is mounted right to my compressor. I made this out of a little transmission cooler from Amazon and a few fittings and an electric fan. And this just cools the air. I've got a whole video on my YouTube channel on how to build this yourself. It's a complete video start to finish, so go check that out. But this takes that 210-degree air that comes out of the compressor, runs it through here and cools it down to ambient temperature and keeps the tank completely dry. There's no moisture whatsoever making it out to the sand in the sandblaster. I got the body up on 6-inch blocks here. See that? Now I can really get at this frame to sandblast it. You can get all up in here. I got blocks right there, blocks back there. All right, stage 1 of this process is finally complete. So I got the frame all blasted inside and out. You might be wondering why I didn't do this cross member here, and it's because that's coming out. I'll be putting in a high clearance cross member from ORD in there. It's like twice as thick as that and a lot stronger. It goes down a little deeper so you have more clearance for an LS oil pan. But here's what this is looking like. Putting the body up on blocks like that gave me a lot more access to the frame. Didn't pay much attention to these leaf spring mounts because they're going to get cut off. This is going to get 4-linked. Here's what we're looking like underneath. Doesn't have to be perfectly clean down to the bare metal because the next step is going to be the POR-15. Now as for the POR-15, I'm just brushing this stuff on with a small brush. You could spray it too through a sprayer, but I'm not laying under here spraying this stuff, having it get all over me. Because once you get this stuff on your skin, and believe me, you'll get some on your skin. There is no getting it off. You just have to wait for it to wear off. Thankfully it wears off within a few days, but this stuff is really strong. It dries like concrete. It makes a chemical bond with rust. So it's a great product. You'll basically never have any rust again. But if you get it on your skin, it's no fun. There's no cleaning it off. So I'm going to try hard not to get any on my skin. And like I said, this is not meant to be a top coat. It's not meant to be a paint. This is a chemical rust converter. It's a coating, not a paint. So you do have to come over later and paint over this with an actual paint. So this is just sealing the metal, bonding to any remaining rust. That's why it doesn't matter if your sandblasting or your grinding is perfect. It doesn't really need to be perfect. There can still be some rust under here and this stuff will bond to it. What I'm going to do under here is once this dries and hardens up, I'm going to come under here and scuff it up, probably with a scuff pad. Then I'm going to spray some white epoxy primer, and then I'm going to bedline over the top of that. So the epoxy primer is just going to be the coating that helps my bed liner stick. Here's what the frame looks like now. What do you think of these? Those are Mickey Thompsons. They're 16 by 12. Pretty deep dish wheel. And a 33-inch tire. 33 by 12. Man, they look sweet. Let's see how deep they are. And there's 5 of them. I even got one for the spare tire. I have the original spare tire mount for the back of the Blazer, so I'm going to paint it green to match the body. And then I can put one of these back there so I'll have a matching spare. So this will be coming up. You're going to see more of this in future videos. At this stage I've sandblasted this and I've got this nice shiny POR-15 coating on it, but nothing sticks to shiny surfaces. So now I have to scuff all this so that my epoxy primer and bed liner will be able to stick to it. I got a couple different things to try here. I got some scuff pads for my grinder and scuff pads for an orbital, and worst case, just the regular old scuff pads to do it by hand. All right, this is where we are. So I got the whole body all sanded down. None of those scuffing discs worked. I actually had to use sandpaper on a DA to be able to scuff that POR-15. But all my floor patches are seam sealed up. This is seam sealed, and I actually went over the seam sealer with a scuffing wheel to kind of smooth it out and flatten it down. So once I spray a bunch of bed liner on this, it should kind of hide it better. But this is all done, all rust proofed, all scuffed down and gruffed up. So we're at the point now we're ready to spray the epoxy primer and then bed line over that. And I'm not masking off the frame, because remember, this frame is just POR-15 coated. The whole frame still needs to get sanded down. So if I get a little overspray of bed liner on it, I really don't care. It's going to get sanded off anyway. Now here you can see I've got the floor all done on both sides. I ground down all the welds and I put seam sealer over all the welds. Now I'm going to put some epoxy over that. Alright, I'm going to mix up the Raptor. The instructions aren't great, but it says to mix 8 fluid ounces of hardener. So I'm going to pour 8 fluid ounces out. It says to use the provided measuring cup, but there was no measuring cup in the box. So I got my own. This is the tintable bed liner. So basically you mix in some hardener, then you mix in some of your paint, and it should come out color matched to your paint. I don't know if you can see this, but this is only about that full. It's about right there. So you fill it up to here with hardener and up to there with paint. I don't know if you can see in there or not. So I'm going to put 8 ounces of hardener in there. After that, I'm going to mix in some of my paint. The old bottles of Raptor Liner they were plastic bottles and they had a cast-in line on the side that showed you exactly where to measure to. These newer ones don't. So I'm just going to pour in, you know, it's at about right here now as far as the level. I'm going to pour paint up to about where the black ends. Leave a little bit of space on top for air so that I can shake it to mix it. That's about it. Probably can't see that too well, but that's what it looks like. And we're going to just put the cap on here. And I'll just turn it upside down and shake the crap out of it for a while. And once it's all mixed up, you take the cap off and you just put it on the gun and screw it on. Okay, here's the finished product. Took 2 coats. The first coat was kind of patchy, so I don't know if it's just the paint color or what, but just didn't look quite right, so I had to do another second light coat to get rid of all the patchiness. But I think it looks really good now. I matched the color inside the wheel wells, same as I did on the blue truck. I thought I'd be able to get by with 4 quarts on this job, but it actually took me 7 quarts to get a nice even coating across the whole thing. Here's looking at it from the back. So that initial 4 quarts only got me to about this cross member here. I didn't have enough to do the rest going back. This right here probably could stand another coat, but this is where the gas tank goes right here, so you won't see that. But otherwise, this project is done. So now this thing is ready for the next step. So that project is done. We're ready for the next step, which is get rid of these 6 lug axles and do the 3/4 ton axle swap. These are the 8 lugs. That's a full float 14 bolt in the rear, Dana 44 in the front. So I'm going to be sandblasting these, and this thing's going to get rolled in the garage on the cement where it's level, and I'm going to start building the suspension. So look for that video coming up next. This is my new little buddy. He's a baby woodchuck. His mama's been living under our shed out in the backyard for years. And every spring, right about this time, we might start seeing a baby or two around the yard. So we made friends.